Sounds working.
Can you talk a little bit?
Sounds working.
Yeah, sounds like it's working. Can you talk a little bit?
Sounds working.
Yeah, sounds like it's working. Can you talk a little bit?
We should be live.
Think we're live?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
How do you know?
I know.
You know?
Do we
You
have
know
any
we're live?
friends?
See?
Yeah, we do. We're live.
Sweet.
Hey,
we have 4
we
friends.
got 4 friends. They're watching already. Hey, welcome everybody. Let's Grow Pulling Live. We got. I want to show off the leg lamp right away. I want to introduce. This is. If you know what that is, you know what movie that's from. You've had a good life.
It's a Christmas story.
It's a
You can't-
Christmas story.
Yeah, you can't live life without it.
Yeah. So that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So. So, Brandon, can you turn down just a scotch? You're trying to. Got about the 15-second delay over there. So, Brad Kruchten, welcome to Let's Grow Pulling.
Good to see you, Jason.
Brad, owner of the Terminator Sled. Is it still going to be the Terminator Sled when...
It is, Jason. This will be. I'm not going to change the name of the sleds. It's
Okay.
always will be the Terminator, and
Okay.
it's what we've grown and what we like.
I love it. I love it. But thanks for coming over from Sauk tonight and hanging out with us. And, of course, Ryan Zolik, our engineer. We got Brandon, our Facebook wizard, over there. On the laptop, he'll be watching the comments and stuff like that. Ryan will also bring up the comments because you're going to find some hecklers. Some people are going to know you and they're going to heckle you on Facebook.
Perfect.
That happened to Dirk a little bit last. Not a little bit, actually a lot.
That can happen.
So what's going on? I'm happy to say got the new Puller magazine. We always joke about when we get a pulling magazine. It's kind of like when I was a kid and the JCPenney magazine came.
Yep.
I'd go to the bra section, so I'm not afraid to say that. So the Puller magazine came today. So Kent Enderle passed away. What a legend of the sport. How much he did with the Enderle pull-off and stuff like that, Brad. You talk about a guy who threw money back into the sport for us pullers.
He was a huge player in that sport, and he had his own pull, and it was an invite pull. Everybody wanted to go there, and did a great job for the sport, and built some amazing parts for all the pulling vehicles out there. So
did Heather do your hair for the show tonight?
She did. I missed a couple in the back. She got them all taken care of and curled the ones, and we're good to go. And then shine the top.
Okay.
Yep.
So, and then we want to give a shout out to Jimmy Lutke, the Lutke's Eliminators. A legend in the state of Wisconsin for pulling. So anybody,
we got people from all over the place.
yeah.
already.
So give us a roll call here. Let us know where you're watching the show from tonight. And if you know Brad Kruchten and the Terminator Sled, tell us what you know about him, good or bad. It's on Facebook. It's public. It's no big deal. I mean, the show reached 100,000 people.
We got royalty. We got Scott Vivian, president of ISPs.
Woo!
Holy
in
smokes.
the house. So before we get too deep into all that, Brad, let's talk about Jimmy Lutke a little bit. Kind of got touch and go there a little bit. He got a respiratory disease, or got real sick. Got scary, was on some life support and stuff like that, but his daughters were at the Badger State banquet, and they basically said, sounds like the next couple weeks he's going to be off the life support stuff and the respirators, and should be good to go. Is that kind of what you heard?
That's what I've heard as well. I
Okay.
haven't talked to too many people, but from what I've heard, the scary stuff should be behind him. It's going to be a tough, long road to recovery, but they've got a great team backing him up, great family and friends, and he'll be missed until we get back on the track.
Dirk called you Brad Mears. Is there something?
Well, it's just I got all kinds of names for Dirk when he crawls in the sled, and we have to have a little discussion about sled settings.
Lakeland, Florida's watching tonight. Hopefully not a bad thing, but
Yeah,
his
North
orange
Dakota.
tow vehicle I worked on at MATC.
Yes, it's there now, and
okay?
almost every year I take it down there and give it a little once over, and it's a perfect spot to store it all winter, especially when we start welding in the shop and it's in the
Misty
way.
Lustig's in the house. She cannot hear us. What?
Tell her to turn her sound up.
Yeah,
turn your sound on.
Mr. Lustig and I cannot hear you. They're in Pennsylvania. Maybe the soundtrack
Yeah.
is a little bit longer. So this is what we opened up on the show last week. When Jordan and Misty Lustig send you a picture, they're kind of famous.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I mean,
absolutely.
you're famous, but they're
Oh no, they're way more famous than
They're
I
way more
am.
famous
I'm
than
just
you.
from little old Sauk City.
Little old Sock Safe. They're the only ones that can't hear us. So Levi can hear us.
There you go.
If
Hey, Levi,
can hear
how you
us,
doing?
Lustig should be able to hear us.
I bet it's Pennsylvania. They got to tax the sound.
They got to tax.
They
the
do.
sound.
That's the Richard Love tax. I'm
The
sure.
Richard Love tax?
Yep,
Okay,
I'm sure of
yeah.
it.
So Brad's bringing us, but it's cool to have a sled operator. When you and I did a podcast earlier this year, it was very, very popular. And Dirk's show was very, very popular last week. So we'll get into about how sleds work and different things like that. So what'd you do this last weekend, Brad? What's going on in Brad's life?
Well, besides real life and work, because we all have to have real jobs to support this crazy habit we have. But got a sled shipped out to California. So,
Yeah, who bought the sled, Brad?
It was a club out in California that bought the sled.
Okay, do
and
you know
a
the
couple
name of
guys.
that club?
I did, and I kind of forgot.
That's
My
fine.
memory's very good, but very short.
VTPA.
Yeah, VTP is something to that nature. But great group of guys out there bought the sled. They got it home, and then they'll start putting their little twist to it. But at any rate, we building 2 new sleds this year, and
let my
it'll keep
dog
us
out,
up.
Brad. Keep
That's
talking.
a good idea. And before you have to clean up after your dog, Jason. At any rate, we got a lot going on in the shop. We're going to get 2 of those units welded together, and over the next literally every day, there's lots of changes, and it's going to be a fun winter.
This is all part of the script.
Yeah, we script the show every week. So
The dog is?
yeah, everything like that. So
that was a minute off, by the way.
was it really?
Yeah.
Dang it! Hey, Ryan, could
Valley
you?
Tractor Pullers.
Oh, Misty.
There
can
we
hear us
go,
now,
Valley
so-
Tractor Pullers Association.
Yep,
Thanks, Brent.
Yep. So I talked to him at Bowling Green, and can you oh, my favorite Heather.
Oh, thanks, Heather.
Heather's sucking up.
You know what? Heathers are great people.
Yep.
They really are.
They are.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
wonderful.
Misty can hear us now.
Good.
She turned her sound on.
Or they paid their taxes.
Fair enough. Okay, what do you want now?
I want you to go to Brad's personal Facebook page and let's show some pictures of the sled heading out to California and different things like that. So he doesn't have any bad pictures on there. I checked like that, and then on the desktop too, I have some pictures of the kids. That's the one I was posting on Facebook earlier today.
Is it
Ryan's our
Terminator
engineer.
pulling sled?
Well, he had the
You can do that, or just
sled
under
lead.
my name.
Oh, just-
Yep, probably the better. There's a few on there, but actually more on my personal page.
So again, if you're just joining us, we got Brad Kruchten from Sauk City, the owner of the Terminator pulling sled.
There's John.
We'll move
John's.
this over.
That's okay.
Christmas
We
present.
posted that on Facebook today. Brandon,
Yep.
I know Brandon
Now they
did.
can
The Jack
see it.
Daniel bottle's upside down. So there's your daughter standing. I did a little promo today. They're snorkeling in Wisconsin.
Yep, I had
Richard
the
Warner.
orange.
That's
I had
okay.
the-
Let's talk about that.
Right,
a
I
little
had
bit.
the orange flippers on, so I didn't get caught. That's Mark Hawthorne.
That
Yep.
is Mark Hawthorne.
Yeah,
That is
he's
a
got the
little green
Deutsch
giant.
screen. Yep, he's got the Deutsch screen. That was a couple Saturday nights ago.
Well, this is a good segue into drink Wisconsinly.
Right.
So I met with Alex, their marketing guy, and I want to give Brandon the credit for giving me the idea to go talk to them. So Beer Money Pulling Team and Drink Wisconsinly are teaming up, and they're going to co-brand all of our gear now and shirts, and we're going to do some sponsorship and things like that together. So at Gordyville, you're going to be able to buy Beer Money Pulling Team shirts with Drink Wisconsinly on it. So we're
Amazing.
co-branding on that. So it just made me think they've embraced the Wisconsin lifestyle, if you
That's
will.
right. Exactly. It was a
And,
little cold out to be
it was a little
swimming out,
cold
you know.
out, yep.
So that's what you get.
Here's some pictures of it. So what do you got going on there, big guy?
So that is when they got it delivered out there. Obviously, it was a little bit of a challenge. They decided to haul it out rather than
How
tow
much
it
does the
out.
sled weigh empty, Brad?
The sled weighs about 32,000 pounds empty.
Okay.
So we loaded it on a double drop trailer on my end, and when they got out there, they took a couple forklifts and kind of just walked it right off the trailer, and away they went.
It's wet in California?
I know, right? They
thought
said
it
they
never
told
rained.
me
had a
it
lot
never
of rain.
rains.
They had a lot of rain this past weekend, like 2 weekends ago.
Crazy.
That sure is a
But
pretty sled.
It
That's
is
5 years old?
3 years old.
3 years old, okay.
Yep. 2013 we welded that one together.
You had 2 sleds for 1 or 2 years.
We did that for 2 years.
Okay.
And
You and Scotty
yep.
running them? Yep.
Scott couldn't do it without him, and he it was just with my real job and stuff. It was just too much work and family and whatnot. So we're back down to one sled, very very manageable, and try to do the best job we
So they got it
can.
inside down there now?
Yep,
That's in their shop down there?
it is. I pull it with a pintle hitch. They're gonna remodify the front end to have a fifth wheel hitch. They don't actually own a semi tractor, from my understanding, and they're gonna borrow them. So
Okay.
they want to make it easy to switch back and forth.
Ah, awesome. So what made you decide to sell the pull-in sled, Brad? And let's get right into it and build another new one. Because with this one only being 3 years old and very, very popular sled around here. You know, we love it in Richland Center. The pullers like pulling it. I mean, it's a... Tell us about it, Brad.
Yeah, it actually wasn't. It wasn't really for sale. And this whole Facebook thing I never had, but my girlfriend's roommate thought it'd be funny one night to put it on my phone. One thing leads to another. People know who we are, and I got a Facebook message. Do you have a sled for sale? And I said, well, I really don't, but I guess my sled that I have is for sale. Everything's for sale, right?
Yeah.
You know. And one thing led to another. They flew over here from California in I believe it was September or August, and went to a show with us, liked it, loved it actually, and bought it, and we thought, what the heck, we'll just weld another one together.
Good for you. So where you at in stages with the new sled right now?
The new sled is, the chassis is done on sled 1. That's just the easy part, honestly. Then what I call the cab house, we've got all that stuff cut, ready to go. Sled 2 will be in the shop within a week or so, and then at that point we'll assemble both of them at the same time, just
Okay.
to try to save us some time and be more efficient.
So you're
All
gonna
right.
run both sleds, or
Nope, I got another one throughout the whole process. We had a bunch of phone calls, people looking for sleds, and another guy had heard some good stuff about what we have done and really wanted a sled that I'd built, or myself and my brother and everybody else that's involved, and which was flattering, but make a long story short, we just decided, you know what, we'll just do 2 of them. So another one's going to Virginia.
So you're building one, right? You're building 2 right now.
Yes.
Keeping one for you.
Yep.
For the Terminator, and
Yep.
the other one is going to go out.
Yes, and the other one's going to Virginia.
So
In 10 minutes, we've already had 54 comments.
that's good. People like you, Brad.
Or we'll see what they have to say.
What you have to say.
Yeah,
No,
let's not be, what color will the new one be? Well, I'm thinking pink with polka dots myself. That was your suggestion, wasn't it?
I'm not afraid.
Oh, yeah.
They painted the Revelometer pink.
Yeah, so, we really haven't even talked about that yet. It's going to be, I think, something a little different than I've done in the past, and it'll be interesting when spring comes. Yeah, they're my sister, my lovely sister. Her vote is pink.
Pedal tractor guy from Iowa says, "Hey, I know Jason."
Someone asked earlier, what's your favorite class when you're the stop?
My favorite class is between the light unlimited super stocks, which we don't play with very often in this neck of the woods, because they're such a volatile class. I mean, when they run, and sometimes they just don't. When you give them an inch, they take a mile. Beyond that, it'd be pro stocks. Now that new limited pro stock is amazing, and semis. I mean, they're fun. The only negative is I have to carry some extra weight, but beyond that, just a fun group.
When you're fully loaded, Brad, with weights, what's the sled weigh?
It really, I've never been fully loaded.
Okay. What's the most you've ever had in there?
So we're going to be somewhere in the tune of, we'll knock on the door of 50,000 pounds.
Okay.
But again, that's very rare. We don't carry. We let the sled do the work and try not to carry as much weight.
Our super fan is in the house.
Chuck Hobbs, he's our groupie.
Oh, nice, nice.
Rock bands have groupies?
Yep.
Normally they're hot chicks.
Yep.
Chuck is not a hot chick.
Well, that's very disappointing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
we're working
but you got
on
to take it all. Yep.
You got to take it all. Yep. Jerry
the
Johnson says
leprechaun.
pink and white.
Hey,
Jerry
another
wants
one.
to say pink and white.
Yeah, Jerry. Thanks, Jerry.
Yeah.
Hey, Dirk from California. He's one of the. He actually operated the sled when he came into town, and so he's excited to get it going out there and put their own twist to it.
Who supplies the cabs for the sleds?
Oh, no, that's a good question. I get them. I prefer a Caterpillar cab. That's what I've used in the last one. I did get another Caterpillar cab for this one. The one that's going to Virginia is probably going to be a John Deere Combine cab. A little better visibility, but I don't personally like the way the door opens. So to make a long story short, you get the cabs from wherever you can get them. So they're when you're fussy, they're hard to find, and I mean they're all over. It just depends on what you want to use. But my cat cabs are not easy to come by.
Okay. So if you're just joining us on Let's Grow Pulling, we got Brad Kruchten with us, the owner and operator of the Terminator Pulling Sled. Ask us your sled questions. Brad is an expert, knows what he's been doing this a long time. A lot of knowledge here, and it's a part of the sport that announcers don't talk about it a lot. This is your chance to ask questions and different things like that. And Brad, Brandon's jumped in the sled with you before. Mm-hmm. I can't realize how violent it is and rough it is to ride in the sled. When that pan drops, holy cats.
It is a very rough ride. There's, this year wasn't so bad for whatever reason, but there's been lots of tracks that are a little on the wet side. You hurt for days.
Yeah,
I mean, it just pounds the daylights out of you.
We should almost put a roll cage inside there for you. Strap you in, 5-point harness.
We really should.
Well, in Europe they do.
They do.
That's because they drink a lot. I mean, they think we drink in Wisconsin. You go to Europe, they're
just along for the ride over there.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're drinking more.
Right, maybe.
We have a vote for blue and black for the colors.
Hey, that's not a bad idea.
But the first one was purple.
Yep. The first one was purple.
Yep.
And that is one of my favorite colors, honestly, and that's Heather's vote is purple, so I'm sure there might be some tinges of purple.
How thick are the plates underneath?
If you're talking about the actual pan itself, it's 3/8 AR plate, and then the grouser bars are a welded 1/2-inch piece of angle iron. I weld 156 nuts on the inside of my pan, and then I'm able to change configurations however we want. And we also use some carbide grater blades, and there's different things you can use.
Matt Ingram says you're a pretty man.
Oh, hey, thanks, man. I did my hair special just for this occasion.
Chad Doman says, Brad, how can you make it easier for an orange tractor to win?
Well, he should come up and play with us more often. That would solve that problem. And then he's got a good running orange tractor, so I don't think he doesn't need a whole lot of help.
They just need to pull it.
And I just wish Jason Schultz would still have an orange tractor.
Well, if our orange tractor with 4 turbos would have ran more, I wouldn't have been so mad at it. So. Eric Prude had a good question. What is one of the roughest rides you've took, or a couple of rough rides that you've taken before?
Yeah, Monroe, 2 or 3 years ago, Monroe, Wisconsin, during their fair was bar none the worst event I did as far as roughness on the track. I mean, we actually wrecked the sled a couple times at night. It was a very violent
That's
day.
probably the
Is
first
that the
time
night when the 466 Hot Farms?
Oh yeah,
I remember
the
that. I was
pan
there
did
that
not
night.
drop, and
Yeah.
that track allows.
That was probably the
room.
first time I seen that
But-
sled actually malfunction.
Yeah, that was
from the rough.
Yes, that was a tough night, and I know Heather was riding with me all night, and she hurt for a week after that. It was very harsh on us, but you take the good with the bad. But that was my roughest riding event. But it was something else. I'm surprised the thing's still together.
Yeah.
Well, Chuck wanted to know how to become an operator.
It's one of those things you can either operate it or you can't. People think you look at it and go, okay, I'm just going to drive that sled back and forth, and there's a little bit of truth to that. But there's a lot more to it. You really got to look at track conditions. Every vehicle's different. Every club's different. Every track is totally different. So there's a lot of trial and error. And once you try to memorize what you've done in the past and make adjustments from there. So to answer the question, it's trial and error the whole way. Just
When
gotta get in and
did you
operate.
first get involved in sleds, Brad?
Well, my uncles and I built the tractor and I've been pulling since I've been 9 years old. And back in the late 90s, right around 2000, built a light limited super stock.
So you're Dennis Fry's nephew.
Yes.
Fair Valley Performance.
That's
Let's
correct.
get that
Yep,
out there
yep,
so everybody
that's
knows
my
that.
uncle.
That's Agent Orange,
Yep.
so everybody knows
we
that.
built that
so.
tractor years ago, and I helped a lot with that. Dennis was obviously the brains behind that whole operation, and I helped him virtually every single night. And make a long story short, I knew I couldn't afford another pulling tractor. I drove that one a few times, and it was like, this is a lot of fun. Well, I bought a sled out of Iowa, and we ran that sled for quite a few years, and I got sick of getting dirty and hot. So I thought, I want a cab. Well, we got a cab, and I was going to put it on that sled. One thing leads to another. We just thought we can build a better one. I think there might have been some beer involved in that conversation.
Typically, the good
Yeah.
decisions are made with
Always
beer.
made with
Yep,
beer.
Typically.
And so at any rate, we decided to weld a new one together, and many people said we couldn't do it, and we just decided to get after it. And in 4.5 months, we had sled number 1 built.
I always wanted to know, what are these classes? Like, so Brad Nogi is saying sled operator wanted for class 6, sled for club in Western PA.
The ratings.
Yeah, so I've seen class 8. Right now on pulloff.com, there's a class 8 sled for sale.
Yep.
Is that the highest?
That's the highest level of
Okay.
sleds, and I don't have all the different rules memorized for the lower class of sleds.
Okay.
But it all comes down to safety.
Okay.
There's different driveline components, different ways that the frames have to be mended together with the plate in the front. It needs to go through and be welded on both sides. There's just many different things that need to happen to make them a class 8.
Okay.
Someone asked, was there ever a time or a pull that you were scared that you couldn't stop someone because of the way maybe the event or
Not really. The only thing that we can't stop would be a mathematical equation with an articulate four-wheel drive that weighs 60,000 pounds. If they're smart enough to downshift, they'll just pull me till I can't go nowhere.
Right.
Or till they got run out of track. But when it comes to performance stuff, they're all built to specifications. When usually it's all dictated by weight and horsepower. If a multi-engine mod weighed 12,000 pounds, we'd be in trouble.
Yes.
But over the years, these high horsepower vehicles, they've taken weight away, and that's the reason why.
Dirk has a great one. Who's your favorite flagman?
Well, without question, it has to be Dirk Drury, providing he gives us a little dance at the end. And he always has to come by and say hi to us up in the cab.
And do you listen to him, whatever he says?
Well, I always listen.
Preston says hi. That's
Well, hey.
the heckling's starting to start. And then Mike Brining, this was a guy from work.
Yep.
So driving sled's like sitting at your desk all day, bro.
It is. They're a federal employee. Mike is a federal employee, so all I have to say is he's a fireman at a fire station or at an airport, and I haven't seen many fires at the airport.
So what does he do all day? You want me to ask him?
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, Mike, what do you do all day? So, and we need Carlton Cope. If you're watching tonight, we need to know what's going on with the Light Pro. Somebody's asking about that. So Carlton usually watches the show, so we need to know what's going on with the Light Pro. Maybe he's working on it tonight. So rumor is Cope's building Light Pro Massey.
Oh, really?
So
Excellent.
that's why he's not going to be at Louisville. So we're going to see if he's get that done. So
That'd be great.
see what's going on. All right, so so we talked about the levels a little bit. So that's just a rating system. I remember we talked about that on the podcast a little bit. You said, you know, there's a group that comes around and actually certifies the sleds.
Yep.
Okay.
There's a couple different sled organizations throughout the country. The main goal is to be able to buy insurance at a reasonable rate. I mean, let's face it, motorsports is a very dangerous hobby, and we all need to be insured or should be insured. And in order to, you can't just go to your local insurance company and say, hey, I just built this piece of equipment. I need $5 million worth of liability insurance. They'd look at you and laugh. To make a long story short, there's inspectors that come around to make sure these sleds meet the requirements that they set forth, and that's dictates the different classes. With that said, there's older sleds that cannot feasibly, stop a 4-engine mod these days. Maybe they did 30 years ago, but that's why they have different class ratings.
Hey, Mr. Wisconsin Pulling, Matt Ingham wants to know, ask Brad what we could see down the road for like technology-wise, maybe add-ons. What do you see when you look down the road?
It'll be interesting. We talked about
besides air conditioning and hot tanks.
Exactly.
And helmets for your beer.
Well, exactly. It's funny. I mean, I've made some changes to these two sleds we're building now. Some gear changes. There's many things we all want to, the pullers, I all want to go faster, still stop in a reasonable amount of time, safely. The biggest thing is there's going to be more and more safety things. Now the question is now it's mechanic, an automatic safety device. Well, those can malfunction too. So I don't know. I see a lot of safety things. I don't know really. You always think performance-wise, there's not much more you can do better. But let's face it, the pulling vehicles keep improving and evolving, and we're going to have to evolve as well. So it'll be interesting to see what the future holds.
Kleppy's in the house.
All right, Kleppy.
We gotta give him a shout out before they turn off his internet. I'm surprised he's not out plowing.
God, I'm surprised in Richland Center they have internet. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we have to be good until 8:15, and
Yeah.
they shut off. I get it 2 hours a day.
I'm impressed. impressed.
Yeah, HughesNet's like that.
Yeah.
I'm just glad Lustigs are still watching, so that makes
And
me
they
happy.
can hear us. So that's a good thing.
It's all good. Why do the sleds they use in Europe look so different from the ones we have here? Do you know anything about that?
Well, they have multiple different safety requirements. For example, even the rubber bumpers they put at the end of the rails, they are a shock absorber.
Okay.
We don't do that. My rails do go through that 3-inch thick plate. We water jet it and weld it on both sides. So if it was to try to break that off, it'd have to rip something apart. They use some sort of massive shock absorber, and then there's just different engineers. We all I don't want to say get ideas from each other, but the sleds look similar.
Yep.
And over there, they all look similar to over there. And they also usually have big traction tires on them rather than semi-tires, because I think they haul them to the events. We pull them,
Yep.
So it's a semi-trailer going down the road. But that's a good question. I really can't answer, but they got different builders.
People that put V12 aircraft engines on mini rods.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hey, you're exactly right.
Yeah. So
Even their pulling vehicles look different,
so
which is neat.
Showdown watching. I thought that's Kurtown.
Well, Showdown in Kruchten.
Yeah.
So we got-
Borth's house.
Oh, yeah.
So
Well done.
good deal.
Then you've been already invited to Thunder
Rock
Valley.
Valley. Yep. Rock Valley. I'm not going to put that charger on to come play.
No?
Otherwise I would. No.
I would just add another charger or 2 or 3 or 4.
Sure.
Okay.
Go Superstar.
Yeah.
We tried that once already. That thing right there.
Yep.
Yeah, it was fun when it ran. It was a
Yep.
beast. Yep. There's a Terminator sled right there.
It is. Yep.
There's a lot of Terminator sled pictures. In
Oh,
here.
that's awesome.
Yep.
We've had a lot of fun with them.
A lot of fun with them. So, all right, so we get going on with things like that. So, I want to. Can you put up some of the pictures I have on the desktop, Ryan? And we can talk about some of these different sleds that Brad
Sure.
keep yakking a little bit. But I did some different sled pictures. They're kind of just scattered out here. I got sleds 1, 2, different things like that. If that's not too hard for you to add these up here, that's got to be a European.
That's a European sled.
European
and there
sled
you can even see the rubber bumpers up in the front.
That Brad can talk
they
about.
run a unique, different shock absorption system when that box tops out, and a lot of them over there aren't necessarily designed to stop the pulling vehicle. They do a lot of racing. How fast can they pull? How many meters? And then they shut
They
it
like
down.
They like letting them go the
Right,
first time.
and I've always been a little concerned about the safety of that. If something was to malfunction, they don't have a lot of potential stopping power behind them. But again, I've not been over there to watch, so I don't know exactly all the details.
I have about 10 different pictures. Here's one. I want to check this one out here. That's The old
I-
red,
I'm not-
old
yep.
red sled.
There's a few of those truck conversion sleds around.
Now that would be like what farm stock antique.
No
stuff
doubt.
Like that.
I don't know what classification that would actually make, but yeah, no doubt. Through the farm stock, you won't want to be going too fast. There's not much up in the front of that rail to hold that box on.
But hey, there's still a need for that. Definitely out there.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, got an old show me the old step-on sled here with the old steam engine. That's how it all started, right?
It is the old stone boat sort of deal, and actually that's what we should build. That'd be a lot easier.
Would be a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do not want to try to jump on it when my tractor stays going.
No, I probably
about
won't be
35 miles.
No,
an hour.
I don't think
Yeah.
you'd have too many volunteers.
Probably not very smart.
Yep.
But that's that wouldn't surprise us out of the stuff we do.
I found a couple of step-ons, and then I got did a couple pictures of Brad. Said the term. Then there's Terminator sleds.
Yeah, that was my
Not
first
sure.
sled I built, and actually that was very new at that time. We were down in Freeport, Illinois, just being back up, and that sled was not down the track many times before that picture was taken.
Wanted to show all the fans.
And there's world famous Johnny Peterson taking a little break.
He
on
is
the
pretty
sled.
world famous.
He is world famous.
He's getting married in May.
You
I
can
know
tell.
he is. I
Yeah, I
can't
can't
wait
believe
for
you
that.
got somebody to marry him.
I know, isn't that crazy?
She's like nice and has all her
She's
wits, and she
amazing.
can drive a sled.
Absolutely, and
She takes some wild rides in that thing.
She does.
Holy
She
moly.
does. Jill's an amazing. We've gone had a lot of fun with them. Gone to AC/DC concerts, and whenever we get
Jill's
good
a
time.
hoot to talk to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she's
she
a
is.
riot. I think she kind of keeps John in check.
She's a construction worker, and she can belt out the cuss words.
Oh yeah, she knows how things roll.
She knows how things roll. There's the
Hey,
Tri-County
the old
Mini Rod
Tri-County
sled.
Mini
The
Rod
old
slide.
one. This
Yep.
is their old one.
Yep. Before they did some modifications and did the air conditioned
Yes.
cab, they came up and looked at how we did a lot of gearing and clutch work and that kind of thing, and they did a great job getting that sled, up into modern time.
And then I got one down there. Yeah. No, so that's obviously an older sled, but what was the deal with the angle there? Why did they go so high? Or is
Well,
that
they're
just
the old.
that's an older sled.
Old
obviously,
uphill
right?
sleds, and that's how they got the box back into the. A lot of those originally were not motorized at all, so they would, the tractor or truck would pull them down the track. They'd get so far, and the gravity brought that box back home, if you will.
Okay.
Did they think though, like, because it's up higher, it'd put more pressure on the panel,
No, I
or
don't,
is
I
it
don't
more
think so. I
just
think
for
it was
the box?
just to get it back to where it belonged.
Okay. That's
on
one
a
of the
sled like
questions I had.
mine, it's
I had for
powered
you.
back.
This was kind of neat. I think this is I don't know if I found this on the Dragon Sled website, but it actually showed kill switch and hook. It was kind of a for us rednecks. Kind
You
of
got you.
figure
Just
things
kind of
out a
shows
little
you
bit.
the couple different components, and a lot of people don't understand that the modern day sleds are not just an absolute weight transfer machine. There's hydraulics that the pan drops in a couple different stages. And
You mean
again,
you don't pick it out like for people you like and stuff like that?
No,
you don't pick when the pan drops. I
know.
can't pay you.
You could try, but unfortunately, I'd have to run out of the cab and flip some stuff in between the rails. So no,
That'd
I
be
can't
tough.
change anything from inside the
Oh,
cab.
man.
I
So
hit
all
the
those
brakes, all
rumors
the
are
red
true?
lights. No, they don't.
Dang it.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, there's a lot of technology involved. That's Richland Center right
Yeah, the
there.
big D.
And I couldn't stop that, believe it or not.
So I got so nervous because down there, the old sled throw that
Oh, shit,
I'm
it was chatter.
stop him. So,
And unfortunately, with that dozer, they didn't even feel it. But yeah, that was, again, just a rough ride and just the wrong or right or whatever you want to say speed
Yep.
that got the sled really
probably
chattering
just
at the end.
5 mile an hour
Yep,
or
just
something like
chugging
that,
along.
just clipping
Oh,
along.
there was a lot of moisture on it, so
Oh,
there's
yes.
a lot of bite on that
Yeah,
track.
so what happens is the mud likes to roll underneath the grousers, and
Yep.
then it just creates a chatter effect.
So good stuff going on there. So I think that's all I had for videos there. So
Okay.
kind of neat. Yeah, so I just kind of want to show some different ideas and things like that.
You
So
can play the video. It's in my Dropbox.
Oh, yeah, let's find that.
Riding in the sled.
we'll show a video there. Go to Brandon's Dropbox there while we're talking. Keep talking, Brad. Tell some good stories while we're chatting.
Well, it depends
This
what
is all
kind of-
scripted again.
Yeah, that's
so-
right. I got off the script, and
Go down to Brandon and
we've seen Brandon a few times throughout the summer, and he'd be taking lots of pictures, and he'd jump in the sled and ride around with us a little bit.
where's it at in your file?
It's right when you click on my folder. It says sled ride on the
Sled
bottom.
ride.
There we go.
Let's go for a sled ride.
Absolutely. And
How do you want to open this file?
Johnny Peterson's got some amazing. I should have brought my little flash drives along. He's got some cool videos of GoPros of different angles of how the sled works.
Mike Johnson did a bunch of them too with the Tobacco City sled.
This is cool though. I mean, thanks for doing this, Brandon.
Kronchinsky says, "Morning, guys."
This is
Crazy
incredible.
KW.
Yep. Is this when you
Bareboat
kiss the
County.
windshield there, Brandon? The semis are quite a ride. That box top's over just violent.
Watch what happens.
Hit him pretty hard.
We were hitting 30 and a half miles.
Yeah, about 33 miles an hour.
There's some great stats here. It must be actually some of those.
Brandon, you're gonna have to do a better job of holding that camera next year.
Holy shit.
Wow.
We got a little expletive too at the end there.
That's okay. It's Facebook.
No, I know.
We've done worse than that before. I guarantee it.
No, that's great.
They go from 33 mile an hour to a dead stop within
Yeah, within.
20 feet.
Yep.
Johnny has 3 GoPros mounted. Yeah, I'm trying to get a hold of some of that video. I know we sent it to Kelly for the bank.
Yeah,
because
and
he had the hookers pushing clicking it on, and the unhookers clicking it off.
Yeah, next year we're gonna have some GoPros too. Johnny did a great job in Bareboat on my sled with multiple GoPro angles, and it was.
Cash
really
wanted to know, how do you decide where you put the grousers then? Is it just
It's
you guys
just-
like throw darts?
We would literally throw darts.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
mean,
'cause they're
it's
really-
just- there's no rhyme or everybody's got their own little idea. The biggest thing is to try to get that dirt to flow through, not roll, but still create resistance. And then, I run everything from antiques all the way through, Grand National equipment, and I don't change my grousers just for that. So I try to find a happy medium that I can go do some farm hauling and not have to go underneath with an impact wrench and start taking teeth off. That just would take too much time.
Yeah, that's good to know. So, Mike wants to try a 360 fly camera. Those are pretty cool. We're
Yep,
gonna
absolutely.
do some videos and different things like that.
You
So
bet. You bet. Modern technology.
it's neat. It just shows the average fan. I mean, it's neat. I guarantee now everybody's seen the sled video from in the
Right.
cab before and different things like that. And that's something too. We'll try to work on more next year as we get going.
Mike
So
Johnson has a video he posted on our page a while back where they set the sled. The operator got out of the sled, ran up, got in the truck, pulled the sled just to show that it was automatic. That there's no, because it was Tobacco City and they were
Sure.
notorious for everybody's cheating.
yeah,
Right.
So
Yeah, no, once we set the sled, there is nothing I can reasonably do inside the cab. If I was hit the brakes, the red lights come on, kill switch obviously would be pretty self-explanatory. The vehicle would, as long as the pulling vehicle's equipped properly, it's going to shut down.
Chad Doman says, I think we can all handle that bad word. And then, Alyssa said, Brett wants to know when he can operate the sled. Gaffney.
Absolutely. Bring him on over. Gaffney should. And I'll just operate the tractor. That should be a fair trade. And all of a sudden, the owner is starting to back. That's interesting. It's okay, breathe, Jason.
It's okay, breathe.
Be fine.
I've always kind of said that just going to be Gaffney and I.
Yep.
I just put me on the spot like this. I'd have to do a little reflection.
Is there a favorite tractor you'd like to sit in the seat and actually pull?
Well, of
That
course, my blood is extremely orange, so I think I should go down and run Chad's tractor.
Yeah,
I
go
believe.
see
Yeah.
Elvin.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't see why I shouldn't just jump in and see that, and then he can run the sled.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be fine.
We'll see what Chad says about that.
Right.
So, have you ever done any asphalt pulls?
I have not. It's something in this neck of the woods. There's more and more of it now.
Yeah, there is.
And I'm not going to tell you it hasn't crossed my mind, but it's
How-
not something I'm going to do.
Is it they stop them differently, or what do you got going on there?
There we'd have to ask Mike.
Shut
right?
up, Brent. Here we go. It's going to be on now.
Yeah. So we'd have to put some planks under the.
Yeah,
pan.
Brent's going to take you up on operating. Yeah,
Yeah, no-
Brent's always
yeah, no
doing
problem.
things with. Yeah, it's
Yeah, no
okay.
problem.
Schultz's director.
Hey,
He pays the
you
bills.
know-
Hey,
Brent Schultz isn't always along, so we can just make this decision on our own.
this is true.
I'd have to put some oak planks under the pan. It would not be difficult to do with the way I have my pan designed, being able to bolt them under
Yep.
there, but just not something I'm interested in, to be completely honest.
I think Mike's they put graphite or something on the board.
Yeah, Prashinsky's on, so
Yep.
we can ask him what he
And I
does.
think they put some rubber
On a
under
summer.
there and all that good stuff.
Skillen wants to know how many sled settings can you do?
The
From
sled-
antiques to...
Yeah, I mean, I run surely everything from 3,500 pound antiques, through, and again, it's level 8, so we can do anything.
So is it weight? I mean, I see you do a lot without weight.
Right.
So, I mean, I see, is it just gears and...
Yeah, I've got, the old sleds were 10 speeds. The new one's going to be a 12 speed. And then with that said, I've got many, many, many pan dropping settings that you can adjust when the pan drops. And then also we can block the box ahead with stops and, shorten the distance that the box travels. So there's many, many different sled settings, not just 12.
Oak with rubber is what he's saying.
Probably the 3,500 pound antique is a smoother class.
3,500 pound antiques are not going to throw you in the windshield. Brandon, you'd be very safe in the cab with the 3,500 pound antiques.
Strawberry Point.
Yeah, you saw a few of those.
10 hours and never added a weight? to the
Never.
sled?
No. If we go to a farm pull, it starts with antiques and goes through like a reasonable hot farm, maybe even if the track is good, super farm. I wouldn't have to add any weights. 3-4 weights all day long, and I just make other adjustments.
Okay.
But if we start getting into limited pros and pro stuff, the more power, more weight just requires more weight change, and then also just to do a better job. If I want to have that possible 30 mile an hour, we're going to need more weight to give you that run, but then stop you at the other end.
Yep.
Or I could be a turd the whole way, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Not on purpose anyway.
What's going to be powering your new sled?
We run Deutz engines in all of them. They're air cooled. They're very efficient. No radiators to deal with.
What kind of horsepower does it take to do that back to sled up?
Most track conditions, it's really I use a 913 engine, which is rated anywhere from 130 to 160 horse, depending on the application that it had in its prior life. But it usually does not require much horsepower.
Okay.
Let's get those soft.
Yeah, we had a couple tracks where it was a little soft this year, and that requires horsepower, and it's also hard just on the transmission because we run an Allison, out of a 2-3 ton truck or 5 ton.
Anna Thomas gave you a heads up, so that's good. A thumbs up
Perfect.
for Midwest Trucker
Oh,
Backers.
yes, you bet.
I don't know if Brad could fit in a leprechaun. So I don't know. Let's see how that goes. Oh, another question of color the sled will be. You want the wish? We should probably open that
We're
up.
gonna have
After the contest on Facebook.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think that should be a poll, and we're
Yeah,
gonna have to.
we'll have to put a poll up or something.
Yep.
Just
And
like
I
the
can
color of
guarantee
Brad's
you and
sled.
promise you, it will not be John Deere green.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it will not be.
Yep. That's cool.
Let me rephrase that. Everything's buyable, right?
Yeah. You just said your sled's for sale.
Everything's for sale.
Yep.
Even the color.
So good. For just joining us, we got Brad Kruchten, owner of the Terminator sled, and they're always out there doing good things for us. We like having here. So I always hear, and I don't hear that your sled starts tough, but I hear people with horsepower trucks and tractors say that sled starts tough. And I'm not bringing up anybody's name because that's not what we're here about tonight. What makes a sled start tough?
Well, first and foremost, it's usually the track conditions that you can't control. And I honestly try to make it start a little tougher to make it a tractor pull, not a true tractor race. And and I've been asked by many competitors to make my pan heavier, glue it to the ground a little more, to give you the competitors a little more drawbar. And so I play with weights in different areas. And mainly, in all true honesty, most of the modern day sleds, it's going to be track conditions or just flat out having too much weight in the weight box.
Okay.
An extra 1 or 2 ton in the weight box does make a big difference. So we try to run as little as possible and still stop you at the other end in that 320 range. Let's face it, we don't run a whole lot of 300-foot tracks anymore.
Nope.
And the fans want to see that high 20s to low 30 mile an hour range, and to do that in a 300-foot track, unless the track conditions are perfect, it's tough.
Yep.
And with the new these high horsepower engines, they don't want to run them more than once.
Yep.
So 320s are very, very common, and sometimes farther.
Yep. When we talk about, I lost my train of thought. Help me out
Were
here.
you looking at the leg over there?
No, the Christmas story lamp.
Yep.
No, that's my wife does want me to tell everybody that's her lamp.
Let people know an idea how many polls you actually did last summer.
Yeah.
I'm always in the 50 range. So yeah, we do a lot of events, and
I know you're all over
I
the
couldn't.
State
Yep,
area.
I couldn't do it without Scott Zerzo, my other slot operator. And when we did 120 shows a year for that year and a half, 2 years there, and that was.
That's a lot.
That was a handful, especially when we work full time. We all got families, and that was too tough. So
I know I had a good question.
it had to have been good.
No, honestly, I mean everything goes through my mind is good or brilliant.
It
Brilliant
has to be.
has to be. Ever do an indoor pull?
Nope, never have, and honestly, virtually zero interest.
Take the winter off.
Take the winter off.
Yep.
And obviously we're building sleds. I get that, but I normally like to go on a couple warm vacations and that kind of thing. This year we probably won't be able to get away much, but we got way too much work to do. But
Heather's okay with that?
it was actually her idea. If
She's the one who sold the sled on
I was
Facebook.
gonna say if
She
this
got it
wasn't
started there,
approved, we wouldn't be doing it.
Yep, very
Chad
good.
says another great show.
Well, cool. Chad Dobin, he's an all right guy. I'd say
Yeah.
I'd be really nice if he was in the same room with me because he'd beat me up.
Yeah. Well, and I just
talk a little
want to
smack 'cause
drive a
he's in
tractor,
Kansas.
so we'll be good
Yeah,
once
but
we get that
everything
tractor
else-
by Wisconsin again.
Tractor, so, I'm trying to think what else could we talk about here tonight before we get. We'll call Tucker here in a little bit. Talk about some Gordyville. We'll let you talk to the Tuck man.
Absolutely. I haven't talked to Tucker in a while.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking, Ryan? What are you gonna talk about, Brad? We talked about weights, how much a sled weighs. We talked about the grouser bars. Talked about the transmission. Talked about the dirt, the speed. What else, Brad? What else are we missing?
We need cheerleaders.
What's the fastest you can make the box top out at?
Without blocking the box ahead, my fastest gear is a 220. The next sled will be a 210. And then there again, we can block the box ahead and make it quicker if we need to. So there's, semis are one that you want to be topped out in that 200-foot range or sometimes before. I mean, they're going to drag.
They're going to drag you.
Especially
Yeah,
in this round.
so, and you want to give them some speed. So we're going to be topping out in that 200 range. So
What do you think about agritronics?
I love them. I run them on all of them. I've got them working extremely well. I don't honestly. The only problem I ever had was this year when my sensor was getting too far away from the teeth. Otherwise, they've been spot on. My front axle never ever leaves the ground, so it runs.
So the
off of
Acrotronics
it.
is accurate.
For me, it's very accurate because we use it with Badger State and PPL. We use the laser. They're always extremely close as far as the distance goes. And if you
So the idea of a guy taking a wild big S curve ride, putting that extra distance on there, there's nothing to that.
They always have to remember the weight box is following them. So with that said, if they take the long route, the weight box is getting up there faster.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So, and if you took the laser measurements with that great laser that PPL has, and along with the Agtronics measurements, the winner is usually always the winner, and so on and so forth down the list.
Because there's certain polls that we'll write down the ag and the laser, just trying to
Right.
determine.
Yep.
Because it's a lot quicker just to
it
write
is.
down your
And
like our Mayhem and our October polls. We use your ag only, but Badger State polls we use laser.
we use laser.
And we have
And-
to
and
roll
those
with
guys
that,
are really
so-
good and they're quick at it. But
There's
I
think
like
it
'em.
depends on the sled too, because you've seen the moonshine sled where the back end of that sled is 8 feet off the ground.
and that just doesn't work. I mean, yeah, something has to be touching the ground all the
That
time.
was-
I've heard some, and I don't use GPS. I've heard some issues with that.
Yeah, I've been to a couple polls where they had the tree line. There'd be a tree line.
Sure.
And it just blocked the satellite from
Yep.
hitting it. So for
Okay.
the first 10 feet, and then they
Sure,
wouldn't have a distance.
and that doesn't work. So I like the good old fashioned off the ground, and I've had great luck with it. And I've used it for quite a few years.
What's the hook that we use nowadays?
Same hook we've always used. It's a large. I actually had the part number memorized last week, but a 1-inch chain, and it's just a large sling hook made by CM. I can't remember how big it is, to be honest.
That's one of
with
the
you, but,
questions somebody had.
yep.
So, are you getting a new semi to haul the sled?
Oh no, I can't get rid of my my Freightliner. That
She's pretty sweet.
I like that thing.
How many
makes
miles
sense.
have you put on that now?
That truck's got a pile on. It's
Yeah.
got just shy of 2 million, but I bought that truck from a one-owner guy out of Missouri, and I love it. I wouldn't get rid of it for nothing.
Very good.
Someone asked, would you do an indoor poll?
I really have no interest. My gear ratios are not set for that. It would be simple to change, but I run a profab gearbox. I could change some of that stuff.
It's like I said, 250 poles in the.
I've got zero interest in an indoor pole.
NTPA did use GPS in Salem a few times.
As long
I mean,
as it's
turns-
wide
Yep.
open.
Yep.
As long as you have a wide open.
Yeah,
space.
I call those high stress shows when you got other things that you really gotta keep an eye on, and I'm not in this pulling world for stress. I'm in it to have fun.
What associations do you work with the most, Brad?
For the most part, it's PPL, and then and locally with
Yep.
PI, and I do a lot of fantasy, a few tri-states, and just a lot of farm pulling. We honestly enjoy going out, and we stay as local. Yeah, and ECI, I forgot all about those
yep.
guys. When I had two sleds, I'd do all their shows if I could.
Yep.
They're a great group of guys. I just don't get that far into Iowa as much anymore.
Brad says Class 8 is 1 and 7, 6.
Yep, that's the size of the chain.
Okay.
And then obviously the hook somewhat corresponds, but that's the size of the actual chain itself. Yep.
Very, very good. Well, cool.
I'm not for sure what Amanda is talking about here.
Whatever be possibly instead of having to raise and lower drawbars and pulling machines, that all sleds would be uniform.
The sleds are uniform. They're 46 inches, give or take a half an inch. And if they're not, then they're not certified. So that's uniform with all Class 8 sleds.
The safety chain's got to be between
Sled merchandise.
It's funny you bring that up.
'Cause you do have sleds for
I
sale,
do
right?
actually. And there'll be one more post here, probably honestly tomorrow. We can get them out before Christmas. And I don't have a ton left, and then we'll have new stuff next year. But if anybody wants what we had, we've got T-shirts and sweatshirts. A few sweatshirts left. We've also got some spaghetti strap style women's shirts and some guys' shirts.
Who has
as
your
well.
toy sleds for sale? I found pictures of them online.
I forget his name. He's from the Wanakee area. A local guy that makes them, does a great job. He was actually working on a 16th scale, and I haven't seen it yet in person, but that was quite some time ago. He's got 64th scale of both the old sled, the newer sled, and now he's going to have to get to work on new sleds again. He actually made some of the semi and stuff too. Did a
I saw him when I googled you today. I googled you today, Brad.
I'm on Google.
Well, everybody's
You know
on
what's
Google.
funny?
Dude.
All the kids always say, if you ever got a question, just Google it.
Yep, just
And
Google it.
I'll be damned. I'm
Yep.
impressed.
I googled Terminator pulling sled and
Yep.
images.
And then I showed up.
Not you, your sled.
Not in jail or nothing.
No, it was one.
Sweet.
I think it was.
Who do you look up to, Brad, as far as sled operators?
Yeah, what sled operators do you look
Other
up
than
to?
Johnny Pierce.
I say honestly, Johnny's helped me a ton, and over the years, and he's one guy I can call and talk to, and at any time he'll answer any question. We both run ideas.
Is this the guy that does your-
Yep, and I honestly
Toy Farm
forgot
and
his name.
LLC?
No, that's
Or is that someone else?
I'm from Richard
Did-
Love territory.
oh yep.
And it wasn't a coincidence that they had him do the semi class at Hillsborough.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a coincidence.
Yeah, and I
It's
talked
got
to-
the top 3 trucks within 3 inches of each other.
Right, and I talked to Richard quite a bit too. He's another very knowledgeable guy. Dave Hager, talked to him many times throughout the years, and
They're all really cool.
just
guys. I've never
absolutely.
I've never met a sled operator who was just a jerk. So
Well, there's got to be somebody's a jerk.
Yeah, I was just gonna say until you met me. Right?
Okay, yeah, you're
It's-
the
I gotta be
biggest
that
jerk
guy.
out there, Brad.
Absolutely. There it
Yeah, we're
is.
showing
Yep.
some of the toys. Yep, that's cool.
So,
That's
no,
the
he
guy's
does a great job.
toytractortimes.com.
But I think that's more of just a
Oh, okay, magazine.
Yep.
Okay. Let's get the Tucker on the phone.
Okay.
You want to ring him up?
Yeah.
You doing okay? You know
Absolutely.
You good?
This is
Or
great. This is good stuff.
yeah, the bush light.
Yep.
The bush light. It's good stuff. It's good having you over here tonight, Brad, in studio.
I appreciate
What do you
it.
think of the Beer Money studio?
I'm very impressed.
You're gonna have to sign the. Do you want to sign the Wall of Fame right now?
the end.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, the
you
way-
got to sign the
Absolutely.
Let's Grow polling banner.
That's like the closing.
Yep.
That's how we roll.
I
That's
can't
how it
wait.
says Josh
Hey,
Grace is the
Klint,
guy who
sorry,
goes to Toys
There we
R
go,
Us.
Josh.
Oh,
Yep.
here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, we'll get you hooked up here. So you have to switch mics.
Do you want to talk to him?
Ah,
You got to put a headset on.
oh, perfect.
Yep.
I haven't seen Tucker in ages. You used to come around and take some pictures and videos, and
Think you remember it?
I don't know.
He ignores the North now. Because I do all his work for him.
Which mic do you want to have?
Yeah.
Tell them who you are. What you do, your name.
Hey, Mr. Tucker. Is Clint there?
Yeah, you should be there.
Clint.
Let's try that.
Is the wrong mic?
Yep.
There?
Hey, Clint.
Nope, he can't. That one.
Hey. I don't hear Clint.
You don't hear Clint? Wrong headset?
Is it
I'm here.
Yeah, there we go. Hey, Clint.
Oh, hey.
Are you there?
I'm just being quiet.
Oh, you are? I'm saying hi. This is Brad. I haven't seen you in ages.
Hey, Brad, how you
Ah,
doing?
there we go. Where the heck have you been?
Oh, since I met Ryan, he does so much better job than I do. He just takes care of the northern front.
Oh, I see how this goes. Well, you're going to have to go on some field trips because there was some times we all drank beer together and stuff,
Yeah, we used to spend a lot of time in Prairie du Sac.
Uh-huh, yes.
Dude, Purdy stuff.
Yep, absolutely. A little couple saloons there in town. So what's new down there in the winter months? You're not getting ready for any indoor polls or anything, are you?
Yeah, I got this little thing going on here in a couple weeks.
I
Should be
can't.
should be some fun, I guess.
Absolutely.
Is it going to warm up at all?
Yeah, what's the temperature
What's
going
that?
to be? The few years we used to
But,
come down there all the time, it was always relatively warm. And then I know you've had a few years it's been like in the sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah, that's the fun of indoor pulling. But I remember going with my buddies to pull the Indy Super Pole, and we drove there in the ice, and the tractors, of course, back then weren't in enclosed trailers. So when we got there, we had the great experience of hauling them out, cleaning them back up, putting the pipes on, and doing the deal.
Absolutely.
It's got a lot. But the last, since we started this in 2005, which Gordyville spurred, kind of spurred on the boys in Tennessee and then the Keystone guys too. Indoor pulling has got a lot. The guys know what they're getting into now, so they're much more prepared than what we were back in the day.
The facility there at Gordyville is pretty unique too, where everybody can be under one big roof, and obviously it's not super warm in there, but able to ventilate and still keep yourself above freezing. And at 2005 is when you started that. That's been
2005.
Holy smokes!
The last year that they did the pull in Fort Wayne was a couple weeks ahead of about a week ahead of us, and then we started in February 2005, and this year is lucky 13.
Oh, that's a lot more years than I thought it was, but
yeah,
that's awesome.
We're getting older, Brad.
I tell you what, and my hair fell out when I got older, but
you've been bald forever.
Yeah, you're right. I have since I was 5, I think. That's why I always say my brain's too big, but nobody else believes me on that one. No, Jason shaking his head. No, that must be a lie. Hey, what else we got for questions from Mr. Tucker?
Yeah, shaking. You talked about the Drew Rice thing yet?
No.
Yeah, the fundraiser. The fundraiser for the toy auction.
Bring up that post.
Yeah.
I posted about that today.
You got a fundraiser going, Mr. Tucker?
On my page.
Yeah.
Scroll down.
I talked to Justin tonight,
Right there.
Stucker Schneider. He's in charge of our charity raffle this year for Drew Rice and Daryl Stahl's tractors. We lost one really young puller and one really good puller in Daryl. And Justin, he's the best toy builder in the world. He's built a couple of toys. We're going to raffle it off. And he and I talked tonight about some of the other things that's involved with the raffle. Brandon and Dustin Hart, they're going to kick in a $5,000 voucher to products they sell, really good fuel pumps, really good turbochargers.
So Hart's going to have a $5,000 voucher, so Jason Schultz is not going to be able to buy these, right? You would have no use for a $5,000 Hart's.
I would
voucher.
actually.
You would?
It would behoove me to invest in some of these raffle tickets.
Oh, that's some pretty cool prizes.
And then we got Hawthorne, Mark and Larry are kicking in some custom clocks. Kind of a neat item.
Yep. They make some cool tire clocks, I think I've seen. That'll be
Ryan
neat.
Ross kicking in some. Hang on a second. Believe it or not, another tractor puller is trying to call me while I'm on here. Let me try to get that knocked. Let me get that knocked off.
Yeah, just hit ignore, Clint. It'll be okay.
I'm trying to hit it.
It's probably Jason Schultz.
Yeah. I'm being good, I swear.
Okay. So, back to Ryan Rossick's kicking in some custom canvas prints. Show Me Performance is kicking in a $750 voucher for some products. Brian Lively's kicking in some 1-year subscriptions, and Half Log Steel's kicking in a voucher. I don't have a dollar figure on it yet, but I'm sure Dennis and those guys will provide something pretty neat.
Absolutely.
My wife and I are thinking about buying a Traeger grill and throwing that in the raffle, because a lot of people that come in there are fans, and they may not need any pulling parts or anything like that, but everybody eats. So these Traeger grills are kind of the redneck Cadillac of grills.
Yep.
So we're going to buy one of them, I think, and throw it in the raffle.
You bet.
And Josh and Adrian Miley are thinking about they're going to throw something in there. So I'm sure by the time we get there, it'll be well worth the $10 tickets.
Oh, yeah.
We got those live on our website yesterday. You can buy one for 10. I think 3 for 20, and then we sell 20 for 100. And last night, my email just kept blinking. I mean, guys from all over the country buy hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of raffle tickets. So
got the red website with you can pay through PayPal, so that makes it convenient and easy for anybody to get some raffle tickets.
Sure.
Out of the sessions.
Sure. And the toys that Justin and Bill are just immaculate, and we're going to build a couple extra ones there. And Don Sama has already agreed to buy one for $1,000, and Matt Castor has agreed to buy the red one for $1,000. So,
awesome. That's awesome.
You know, we're going to raise as much money as we can, and is going to a great thing. A couple little girls' college funds, and you know, it doesn't get any better than that. And we've got a lot of charitable efforts there and at Gordyville, and I think that's really good that we all get together. You know, that place doesn't hold that many people that we can raise that kind of money. It's really a good example of how great a people is involved with this sport.
Absolutely.
And pretty neat deal. But we're trying to get the raffle tickets out every day. We'll probably start mailing them here probably next week sometime, because we like everything, people lose them.
Absolutely. As long as they pay for them, that's not a problem, though, Clint.
The longer we drag our feet, the more they'll have them, and then when we draw them. And one thing we really suggest is with people is to make sure once they buy some raffle tickets online, if they're not going to be at the event, shoot us an email with a good phone number.
Yep.
Because we sell them all through PayPal, and we get their address, but we don't get a very good phone number sometimes. So make sure they shoot us an email with their phone number, and that way we can put that on their tickets, so Justin can call them and see what. And sometimes they can see what they want.
Yep.
But it's a really good deal. Something else I want to mention tonight is our vendors this year at Gordyville. I brought my book out here into the shop, and I just wanted to go over some of the vendors that the fans and pullers can expect to see at our event. Going through this booklet here, it looks like C3 Precision Manufacturing. Used to be called Cap Brothers. Mm-hmm. They're really Pete and those guys build a lot of hubs and stuff for tractors that you can't get hubs for. Big Carl up there at Atlas Tractor's going to be in the building this year. Bryce Van Gidron with VG Motorsports. Double B Builders from Mothersville, Klint Tucker. KS Farm and Machine Shop. It's Kenny Peters, got the Twister engine stands. He usually sticks an engine stand there with one of Bryce Van Gidron or Rodney Sitzker's recast blocks on. A new one this year is kind of a neat deal. Illini State Pullers, which is kind of great. Jason Yakey, they're gonna have a place there where if you're a promoter in Illinois and want to talk to them about booking a show, they're going to be there, and then they're bringing in a distance sign to put on the left side of Hager so guys can see distances from both ends. The new guys on the block, Pro Puller Tires, Aaron Doctor from Firth, Nebraska. Mm-hmm. Ace Chassis is going to have a tractor in there just for display. Mike Stinson, Excel Engineering, Diagonal, Iowa. Hasselog Steel, of course, will be down there when you first walk in the building from the pit area. Show Me Performance from Winsville, Missouri. Hook Magazine will be there, selling subscriptions to the Hook and Pro Pulling Magazine. Taylor Van Beek and Extreme Performance will be there with his tires. Harsh Diesel will have the bar and in the right corner of the building. If you want to buy some horsepower, have some fun with those guys. They'll be down there set up and talk to Daryl during the day, and the Hart Boy will show up there later in the evening. Chad Mayhill going to have a first year for Chad be there with this block out of anything now for the Pro Stocks. Mm-hmm. Farm Board Products from Cox Creek, Kentucky. They're a new bunch of guys. I think they sold some signs and stickers and whatnot. Patty Whitaker from Excel Sportswear. So if you guys want to, guys think about making some team shirts up, Patty can handle that for you. Then some guy named Mark Hawthorne, I don't know what he does. I guess he did something with tires or something.
Well,
I don't know.
There's a picture of him on Facebook. He was swimming in a snowdrift, so I think he's selling a new set of flippers. Mark
okay.
Yep. Yeah, you have to take a look at that.
I think he's in the tire business of some
he
form.
Is. Yeah.
And then this other guy, I don't know what he does. I don't know if you know this girl. Her name's Jennifer Fry. Dennis Fry. They sell some kind of a fuel pump turbo deal from your area. I don't know if you know them or not. But
You can't pick your family. They've built some great stuff, turbos and injectors and pumps and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they're great friends of the show. They sell horsepower. That's what they sell.
They do sell horsepower. My job's to stop that horsepower.
And then Darren Rush will be the Rush Specialties. That I love Darren to death because he helps me a lot. Has lots of clutches and flywheels, so I don't have to growl at these hot farm and farm stock pullers, and I tell them you got to have a steel flywheel and clutch, and call Darren if you can't figure it out. But a lot of other guys are coming too. Kenny's pulling parts from Kentucky. He's coming back this year, and I'm sure there's several more that are coming in the last hour. But it'll be a full house. I mean, our trade show is worth the price of admission because everybody goes to the PRI show, but I talked to a lot of guys who went to the PRI show last week and said it's all racing, not much tractor pulling.
Right.
Well, you walk in our building, if you can't find it there, you probably don't need it.
No, and that's obviously evolved over the years. I mean, years ago you had just a couple little booths here and there, and I honestly have not had the time to come down in the last few years, and it sounds like you have a full trade show with the pole, and of course throw a couple beers in there, and then you have a great event.
Right. Well, between us and the boys down there at Murfreesboro, they have a really nice setup for their trade show. Keystone Boys, they have a nice, huge building the trade show is involved with. So it's really good for these guys to be able to come to the events and watch or compete, and they have these guys right there, and they, because most of the time it's just phone call, and the face-to-face interaction with the vendors is priceless because you can ask them tons of questions, and I know I get all kinds of emails and calls after the event and say, hey, I talked to this guy, he was such and such side and such corner, and I tried to describe the guy because they probably had their hands full of some kind of cup of beer and didn't grab a business card.
Right.
But we keep all this information with us, and excuse me, it's in a file, and guys come and want to buy something, give us a call, and we'll help you out afterwards too. Get people connected because we really feel that the part of the Gordyville experience is the trade show.
Absolutely.
And,
I know
it's kind of a neat deal.
Jason here had a couple questions for you about the Pro Stock class and stuff. So
if the team's full.
Yep. I'll let you talk to Jason here for you, Clint.
Hey, Clint, how are you, buddy? Clint, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you, big guy.
Hey there, one of the questions was how's the Pro Stock team sign-up coming?
Confusing.
Confusing?
At best.
Okay, at best.
But,
Sure, honest.
they're all trying to get these things healed up from the damage that was created during the summer.
Okay.
Haven't got any team forms in yet. I kind of have an idea. I'm waiting patiently
Okay.
to get them in their teams and drawn because we want to draw those things politically correctly that we're not all five guys are in the start of the class or at the end of the class. So we're still trying, but I've had dozens of phone calls. I'm planning on being there. I'm waiting on a turbo from Weimer. I'm waiting on this from this. I'm waiting on this from that. Everybody's waiting on stuff. We're full intentions of being there, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have 20 to 25 Pro Stocks down the track on Friday night, and whatever survives will be down the track on Saturday night.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I mean, and again, Gordyville just isn't about Pro Stocks. We know that. I mean, it's about the 9,500 hot farms and 85 limited pros and
Sure.
your 12,000 farm. But it's kind of neat for the rest of us to have some Pro Stocks on Friday night and Saturday night as well. And a couple super stock diesels. Allegedly Colin Ross is going to be there, and a couple other big name super stocks as well. So it's for us little pedal tractor guys that we like to see the big boys there as well. And I know that was one of the questions. So that was one question.
Well, I tell this story every time to people who that bring this topic up. It was our second or third year, I think, in existence, and I was in the background around. I think the Super Farm class had just got done, and the Pro Stock guys were kind of getting lined up on Friday night, and I was running through there, and I felt an arm reach out and grab a hold of me, and I turned around, and it was Don Masters, and Don shook my hand and patted me on the back, and he goes, "This is a really good deal you did here," and he goes, "I'm really happy to be up here." He goes, "But I will say," he goes, this whole deal this weekend, he goes, it really ain't about us, is it? I was like, well, no. I'm saying, I'm glad you're here. He goes, it's really good that you gave the rest of these guys a platform that the guys in my class kind of take for granted.
Yep.
And I'm proud to do it.
No, I've told you this is everybody else's Louisville. Gordyville is. It was an honor to win last year, Clint. It was a big deal, big deal. So Dan Kirby's still looking for. He's got that pro stock he bought from Carlin's. He's still looking. He still wants on a team. So I gave him Randy Brew's number, and he to get a hold of him. And then Scott Vivian, he's the president of ISP. He just commented he's trying to get some more of the 7,000-pound ISP tractors to commit to. So he's watching the show right now while we're talking to you. So,
it's going to be the team deal's going to be an interesting deal, and as we get closer, maybe they'll get it all together, and because all we got to do is just kind of have it figured out here in the next week or so. We can draw the numbers the day of the show.
Yep.
But they just got to get it figured out.
Okay. I understand. So
this is a new deal for them. They've never ever had to do anything like this.
Right, the team deal.
And I think if we be patient and let them work through it, it'll work out pretty good.
Pullers never do anything last minute, though.
Yeah, pullers never do anything last minute at all. Ryan said so.
We're the kings of last minute.
The kings of last minute, absolutely. So, anything you want to mention before we let you go? Before we talk to you next week, Clint?
No, I just want to tell everybody that tickets are on sale. We're trying to process everything same day. We'll keep tickets. We'll probably keep tickets open and for sale, probably up through New Year's Day.
And
then we're going to shut it down.
Okay.
Shut it down
on the website
and get them in the mail. And then after that, all tickets will be available at the door.
Okay.
Pit passes are available at the back. Like I said last week, visiting with you guys, everybody wants to buy pit passes in advance. You can't do that. You got to sign a waiver. Hotels are getting pretty short, so everybody needs to get a hotel. Call the Wyndham down there in Champaign, and if they can't accommodate you, they'll refer you on. We're probably going to send our puller packets out hopefully this weekend that has your hauler pass, your vehicle pass, and then the itinerary. We really stressed everybody, please open it up, read the itinerary. That way you're where you need to be when you're supposed to be. Makes everything go smooth. Look at the extended forecast. It's going to get cold this week, and supposed to be a little bit of maybe a turn. Maybe we'll be fortunate it won't be 7 like it's supposed to be tomorrow night.
Right.
Get
the cold weather out of you now.
What's that?
Get the cold weather out of you now.
Right. But there's no snow down here. Not supposed to get any snow for a while. Maybe a skiff or two. It's supposed to be snow Wednesday, no snow. But Illinois' clear. We're cold, get froze up, and we kind of prefer it to be froze when we go over there. Perfect scenario for Gordyville is 35 during the day and 25 at night. Keeps the parking lot froze, keeps it clean, and we're ready to do this.
Awesome. Well, Clint, thanks again for joining us, and we've had our biggest show ever again tonight. Brad was a great guest, and we'll wrap things up with you. But we reached 141,000 timelines tonight, so the show continues to grow. And thank you. People love listening to you, and we continue to love to promote Gordyville. And thanks for all that you do for polling. And again, thank you for providing the platform for all of us to come down and pull for the fans. And we're excited about the 5th, 6th, and 7th coming up here. Right, those are the exact dates, right? 5th, 6th, and 7th. Yep. At Gifford, Illinois, coming up very soon, buddy.
2017.
Well, I just want everybody to keep watching the website. I went to the mailbox today, and there was a whole bale of mail in there. I come in and just stowed it on my desk, and we'll get to it tomorrow.
Awesome.
There's lots of applications in there today. Everybody's kind of starting to get their parts, and we're gonna have a big show. It's gonna be a good show and a big show. Probably one of the best we've ever had.
Jason Hill and Brent Gaffney are gonna they want to put a shock collar on me when I need to hit the brake on the tractor. So and Hill wants to wrap off the shock collar. So there's a little bit of banter going on.
I seen some kind of text from Hill a while ago about a shock collar.
Yep. Because Brent wants to shock me when I need to hit the brake. because he says I'm not always ready to drive the tractor. They've been picking on me a lot, but they're lucky that I have self-confidence. So. Clint, you have a good night, buddy.
What?
Go ahead.
All right, man, you guys
No, what
take
were you going
care.
to say? Let's
Thank you,
pick on
man.
Hill a little bit. I told him anybody can drive them diesel pickups. They just hammer down. They hold the steering wheel. And then he started picking on me back.
Well-
so then we said, nice. It takes a real man to drive a tractor. And then Brent said, oh, he's been on more equipment than you've ever seen. And they ganged up on me today. What's a guy supposed to do? It's tough, Brad.
It's hard. It's hard to get one up on Jason Hill. It's very hard.
It is. What are you going to do?
We'll see him spin his tires on Saturday afternoon at Gordyville.
Yes, we will. That'll be fun. Hey, thanks for everything, Clint. Have a good night, buddy.
Hey, buddy, you take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The world famous Klint Tucker in the house tonight. So, hey, so Brad, can I have the Puller magazine over there? Or the program over there, if you hand that to me, Ryan. So Greg Randall gave these to me at Toma. He said, I want you to hand these out. I want you to give these away on your Beer Money Pulling Team Facebook page, and I forgot all about it. So Phil Kelly also sent us a check earlier this year, Brandon, and he wanted. I haven't cashed it yet. So, so Phil Kelly with the red-blooded binder. Region, what points did he win?
5.
He won Region 5 Super Farm points, went to the Interleague, won Bowling Green Saturday night. I call it the first Sunday winner, but it was actually because we started late down there because of the rain. But he sent us some money, so you are going to message the Facebook page and tell us why you deserve. I think I got 4 or 5 of these to win. Tell us why you want one of these awesome NTPA 2016 program ads. I think they're $8 a piece if you buy them at the poll, but these are awesome. They got posters in there. They got the Screaming D in there and stuff like that. But we're going to use Phil Kelly's money, and we're going to mail these to you. So you tell us why you're a super NTPA fan or a polling fan, and we'll get these out to you before Christmas. And they're awesome, full color programs, beautiful programs here of the NTPA. And again, we're going to use Phil Kelly's money to give these away.
Well done.
I like that a lot. So message the Facebook page. Send separate messages to the Beer Money Pulling Team Facebook page. Don't make a post. Send a message. Tell Brandon why you deserve one of them, and Brandon will pick, and they'll use Phil's money to get those out there. So, Brad, what's the worst breakage you've ever seen, or a wild ride at a pole? That was one of the questions we had on here.
I did see that down there, and without question, had to be the block split and Richland Center.
On Van Hazley's truck.
Van Hazley's truck. That was amazing. None of us want to see that happen, but from a fan standpoint, it's cool. And it did slow us down a little bit. That was the worst breakage. We've blown up lots of engines. Honestly, in my many years of doing this, I've only had one tractor roll over. It was a very minor flop onto its side. Thank God for roll cages these days.
Who was that? Remember?
It was in Viola, the world famous Viola.
Which got rained out this year.
It did.
That stinks. I know we have a bajillion comments tonight, but somebody actually from Viola talked about you were there for 10 hours, and you actually at the end of the 10-hour day you still talked to them.
Hell yeah, that's my favorite place in the world.
It is.
Yeah,
it
is just Jerry Green and his crew.
It's Molly aftermarket money from the red-blooded binder. Thank you, Phil. I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah, but
that's a sponsor. So smart ass. Yeah. Thanks, Kelly. I just wanted a checkbook be right by the end of the year.
Right.
Because he's kind of an OCD freak.
Ah.
Yeah.
More OCD than Jason Schultz?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Smart ass.
Unbelievable.
Yep. So it's all good in the hood.
Excellent.
But yeah.
I don't remember who it was that flopped on the side, but
we break front end up in the air and they got walking a little bit?
Kind of dancing around and just slow motion flipped it on its side. But
you got the Joey James.
we rolled it right back up on its wheels and away we went again. But
so do you know how many years you've been running a sled now?
2003 was my first season with a sled, and we've been after it ever since.
Do you remember first person hooked to a sled?
I honestly do not.
Where was it?
My first real event I did multiple little ones, but my first real one was Waupun. That was a ATPA event back when ATPA was around. Yep. Did that one. We actually broke the sled bad that time, but I didn't know what I was doing, so it was totally my fault.
You own it.
That happens.
That's
right.
That's what Dirk said last week. If you make a mistake, own it.
Yep.
If anybody's watching the show that hasn't, just own it.
Hey, I make mistakes every day, yep. And in that sled we broke a lot of stuff, but I rebuilt that thing from head to toe multiple times, and all our sleds that we've built, we've broken some stuff, but nothing major. We really try to stay up on maintenance and keep the sleds operating as smoothly as possible.
What's the worst thing you broke on the sled? Jeff Helt wants to know.
Oh, Jeff Helt, the worst thing has been when we built both sleds, we had some rear end issues on the drive axles, but they were, again, these are all used parts that are remanufactured, and both of them had some flaws in them.
You mean you don't go to the sled store?
Unfortunately, I don't go to the sled
Not a
store.
Sled Walmart?
No,
Sled
there's not a
Walmart?
Sled
Amazon?
Walmart. God,
Amazon?
I'll bet you by next year we'll be able to order everything on Amazon. I'm pretty positive. And they're going to have the drones.
Yeah, I was gonna
carry
say,
them.
the drone's going to bring the Deutz
They're going
order.
to drop me the Deutz, and they're
Then
going to
if you
drop
break at a pole, they'll just drop it right off at the pole.
Absolutely, they're going to drop me the next air clutch and so on and so forth, and all these custom machined parts that we do. But the worst part, I've twisted a couple drive axles and stuff, just weird stuff, but nothing super severe. I've been very lucky. And Jeff, to answer your question, the worst thing that's ever broke is my god darn air conditioning. That sucks.
And it was probably the hottest day of the year.
That never fails.
Yeah.
Never fails.
4th of July somewhere.
Yep.
How many books do you already have booked for next year?
We're virtually full.
pretty much?
I actually been on this year. I've had tons of calls from some new places all over. Had one the other day from way out in western Iowa. I actually got to call that guy back. But we get more and more phone calls. But I can only do so much. We really do try to stay as close to home as possible. I'm not, wanting to drive all over the country. I love truck and tractor pulling, but I don't love it that much.
Right.
I still have my, time that I need to spend with family and go out on the boat and relax and have a real job to pay for all this silly stuff.
Life is good.
What's your busiest week? Do you know?
The last 2 weeks of July are usually the busiest. We used to do a pull every day of the week for 2 weeks straight, except for, I want to say it was Tuesdays. I don't remember for sure, but we cut a lot of that stuff out because we drove halfway across the state of Iowa, drove all the way back to the other side of Wisconsin. I just it's too much, and then try to work some full-time stuff in between.
Yeah.
We cut a lot of that out of there, and really, again, try to stay within a couple hundred miles from home.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Life is good.
Every day is good.
Brad, you've been a great in-studio guest.
You got to sign.
You got to sign the Let's Grow Pulling banner. That's
Absolutely.
what you're famous.
Not as famous as you just.
Are you going to sign over Dirks?
I don't sign over the turbo.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Brad Kruchten, the Terminator Sled owner operator.
There we go.
So you're kind of like an athlete after riding in the sled. It's like football practice. That's what I want people to realize. It's like
that's
legit.
it really. And
it's like being
you can
tackled.
ask Scott. A guy who has jumped in that sled thought, I'm going to go drive a sled, and he does a great job. But there's many weekends he gets home, he's like, I'm done. And I'm like, dude, I've been doing it for years. I get it. And you do it every day for a couple weeks on end, and your body takes a good old-fashioned ass kicking.
Yep. You're normally the first one there and last
That's
one to
another
leave,
thing. Being a sled operator, we are the first ones there and the last to leave. We again got to get home to get some maintenance done. No different than the pullers do, but we don't have honestly as much time. We're the last one to leave. We don't have that kind of time.
Jeff Helt is very proud that it's his idea to have people sign the banner.
Yeah.
Hey. Well done, Jeff.
He is the one. Yeah,
He is very proud of that.
Yes.
So.
That's great.
He wins $5, but we're not giving him $5.
No.
He's just lucky we say his name on the show.
Yeah.
So.
He's having a fire sale on some parts.
Well, he needs. Is he going to fix? Is he taking that? You build that truck up?
Maybe that $5 will go towards turbo.
You know what? He's going to build that truck up, and I'm still going to break it.
I'm still going to break it.
Yep.
So.
And I don't have a problem breaking stuff.
That's what
it's kind of fun.
That's what you do.
Yeah, that's what I do.
All right, cool. So we have we partnered up with the Joey James Band, and he's from Texas, and he talks about the Beer Money Pulling Team when he's out on stage and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then we also do, and we talk about him. We're doing some cross promotion stuff like that. So
Matt Ingram did say he's got to pull up.
Oh yeah. So Matt Ingram put a pull up on Wisconsin Pulling Promoters already. The color of your sled. So let's check it out before we wrap up the show. Yeah, so we make things happen here at Let's Grow Pulling.
This is going to be amazing. Yeah.
I guarantee you, he's got stuff going on already. It's on Facebook. Open a tab. Any tab. Wisconsin Pulling Promoters. So pop right up there. It is. Matt does an awesome job with Wisconsin.
He does. He's jumping the sled. We've had a couple quick chats. And
Poll of the week here. Want to know what color next Terminator sled should be. Click on the poll here and cast your vote.
God, I hope my sister doesn't find this. She's going to vote 15 times
So
pink.
let's say we got red, blue,
Orange, black, white, green, and gold.
other.
No, well, that's going to get filled out, but we're going to X-nay all those from my sister. I promise you that.
I want it to be red. So
Okay,
hit some
so
I'm hitting some.
this is the official vote.
Jason, you've officially transformed from orange to red.
Orange
haven't you?
was not good to me.
I'm disappointed.
Orange cost my dad and I a lot of fighting,
Yeah.
a lot of MFing, a lot
Yeah.
of yelling, a lot of phone calls, a lot
Yeah.
of mean phone calls. I'm not gonna lie to you. So it is what it is.
I wish I gave us results, but not yet.
Not yet.
We'll have
Time
to
will come.
We'll have to get that from Matt.
Yep. So, but that's cool though that he's doing that. So we work close with Matt on our page and stuff like that. Share it.
Wisconsin Polling Promoters.
Yep, he does a really, really good job with stuff like that. So, and again, shout out to PK Molly Aftermarket. He gave us some of his sponsorship money. We're giving away these NTPA. So send a message to the Facebook page, the Beer Money Polling Team Facebook page, why you deserve an NTPA program. And these are sweet, full color, all kinds of great pictures and stuff like that. Brandon will get those mailed out to you, courtesy of Molly Aftermarket and Phil Kelly. We'll get those taken care of, or we'll try to. I could even do it, Brandon, because you normally do everything. So I'm willing to help.
We're willing to step up the plate a little bit
I'm willing-
for Christmas.
I work at 1:30 and I'm milking cows.
I know. Well, you had to get a girlfriend and help her milk cows. So
That wasn't very bright.
she's a
I
nice
don't
girl.
have to help her. I do it because I'm nice like that.
Because he
Right.
wants to kiss
Yeah, you don't.
the
Yeah.
girl thing.
You're right.
They
It's
offer-
we understand.
They offer if she helps him, he helps her.
Yeah, it's all
everybody
happy
wins.
family. Yep, everybody
Woo, woo.
wins.
Anyway, so we talked about Drink Wisconsin. We're gonna start doing that. They're teaming up with the Beer Money Polling Team, doing some co-branding gear, stuff like that. Excited to be working with them, and excited about Gordyville. We had Dirk on the show last week. Yeah, it's been a whirlwind.
Absolutely. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, it's gonna be 2017, and we're gonna be tractor pulling again.
Let's do this.
Yeah, I
May
can't
13th
wait.
is Motorsports Mayhem. Definitely gonna have a light limited superstock class here,
Nice.
and with the Alkies and diesel tractors.
Yep, that's gonna be a great combination this year. And I know there's a lot of controversy,
that big of a deal.
but I think it's a great way to try to get that class to grow again and just a new, fresh outlooks. You got to try new stuff, and I
New
can't wait.
tractors to
Yep,
see.
yep.
So we're pushing Joey James' song. It's called "Drinking Here."
Uh-huh.
Kind of, you can download it on iTunes for 99 cents. It's a great song. Joey's just getting started. He got nominated for an indie, which is for an up and coming artist and different things like that. So we're excited to have him. So
Is that the world famous Jason Schultz? Oh, it
Yeah,
was.
that was
That
his
was-
up and
that was my
down.
Mazo.
That was
Mania.
Mazomania.
But it looks like a great pass.
It looks like a great pass.
It wasn't, but it looked.
No,
It was, it was actually a horrible pass,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But it sure did look.
All
cool.
the good passes were with Brent, but I've given him enough compliments.
Yep.
I need to be mean for a while.
It's no different than me. I mean, I can't build these sleds without Eric and my little brother and Ryan and Jamie. There's more to it. Just like you can't. You're not gonna win points without Brent, are you?
Zero chance.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's why Brent's going to drive it at Silver Series next year.
Oh.
We're going after Silver Series, and Mr. Gaffney will drive it at all the Silver Series events.
Really?
Yep.
Sweet.
That's what we do. We already got it figured out.
Well done. I can't wait.
It's going to be fun. So we're going to go chase Mr. McDonald down. See if we can
Ah,
run for his
there
money.
you go, Tony.
And Bullheaded Binder, the Real
Yep.
Deer, and the Hartmans. There's some good tractors out there.
You're gonna need that $5,000 Hart gift certificate, aren't
Could I
you?
need a little bit more than that?
Yeah,
Just
well-
saying. I need you know,
It might buy you a
not
fuel
talk
tank
about
or something.
that. Let's not talk about that on the show. So it's all good in the hood. It's all
There'll
good
be
in
a
the
pro
hood.
farm class.
Oh, your sister says you know it. You better.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go.
Spread. Can't wait to hook your old sled out here in the VTPA. You got.
We definitely will have to go on a field trip. We're gonna have to put a field trip crew together to go out to California and check this operation out.
And then Jeff Hilt says it takes a lot of beer to build a sled.
Yeah, and you know, we used to get it delivered by the truckload,
Amazon.
literally, and you know, maybe that's the way to do it now.
Amazon does deliver Monster energy drinks.
Oh, and I used to drink a lot of those too, but now it's either beer or rum. Rum's good. I like rum.
Beer or rum.
Yeah, beer
Well,
or
Uber
rum.
is starting to deliver food and drinks. So
Really? I'll be
When I
damned.
was
So,
out in San Diego, they
Badger
were-
State, we're auctioning off the Captain Morgan statue. Greg
Yep.
just sent me that picture tonight. I got to get that up there. So
Mm-hmm.
we're going to do that. Brandon's going to help me do that either on the Facebook page or the website. So I got to show that to Brandon. But Greg sent me that picture tonight, so we're good to go. So, Brad, anything you want to say?
I just want to thank everybody.
I want to thank you. This is our most popular show. We reach 141,000 timelines.
Amazing.
So that means we're probably going to have 13,000 video views and that many people. So, yeah, so you might get a few more phone calls on the old
Hey,
Mary Sled next
you never
year.
know.
all good in the
We're
hood.
here. Yeah, absolutely. Everything's good, and
So-
I just appreciate the opportunity to meet all the cool people we've met throughout the years, and you and I've been doing this a long time.
We have a lot of memories. We have a lot of things we cannot talk about.
Lots of things are correct. We'd be smarter if we didn't.
Right.
But
I enjoy what we've done after the polls.
Absolutely.
And that's everything's been parked. That's some good old times.
Absolutely. Everything's parked and put away. And then the rubber duckies come out and Santa Claus comes out to play and the Easter Bunny. And we've had a lot of good laughs, fun,
so
and
Shane
memories.
Kellogg said to me after the center, he goes, so I've been finding these little rubber ducks in my trailer. And every semi-toter and trailer that left Richmond Center, any compartment or anything that wasn't locked, they got rubber duckies.
They did.
Yeah.
We had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We
So
were gone.
They put them back in my toter.
Right.
at Hillsborough
We were
this
gone
year.
for like an hour and a half with them rubber duckies. And we had,
A whole bunch of them.
it was fun.
I call that advertising.
That was,
Except I didn't put churn and dirt.
and they didn't
logos on
find, we should have. And they found them a year later.
Yep.
In little compartments.
compartments.
Yep.
And if you didn't lock it up that night, it was
So
rubber
yeah,
duckies.
and hopefully the weather cooperates this year, and we'll come up with another little fun little thing to walk around and have fun with.
Yeah, you could have floated the rubber duckies all over the place.
Well, we could have this year. Yeah, we could have done some floating.
could have done duck
I was
races.
stopping everybody out on the road this year.
You were.
And I stopped. We brought everybody in the shuttle bus to feed them. Had the pig cooked for everybody. Did feed everybody.
We all felt pretty bad. That was a bad deal.
All right, let's wrap the show up. We're starting to turn into Jason. Blah, 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 blah. So anyway, check out Joey James' song. Listen to it. It's about 3.5 minutes long. Great song. Download it on iTunes. He's the official band of the Beer Money Pulling Team, and he's going to be famous someday. He's going to sponsor us, and then we're going to be famous.
Amazing.
And
You're already
then
famous.
I won't need $5,000 hearts. Sponsor. Get
Right.
I'll have me a sugar daddy.
You'll have a sugar daddy.
Sugar daddy.
And Amazon will deliver them.
Ryan, thanks for all you do for the show. Got my Facebook.
There
wizard.
we go.
Brandon. Thanks, Brad.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Barkeep, keep 'em coming. Jack Daniels is my best friend. I've sailed away with Captain Morgan every now and then. Bahama mamas with pink umbrellas and icy cold Corona, served by a hot senorita. Lord, that will suit me just fine. 'Cause I'm drunk and getting drunker. Well, I think she's almost out of my mind. And it hurts, that straight tequila, but nothing really compares than to lose the love you love and end up drinking here. Well, I've shot some wild turkey, been soothed by some southern comfort, and that Everclear has made it clear those memories are hard to drown. It's those mixed drinks, they make me think, but I'll forget it all with the Jaeger bomb, a pretty little lady, and a good old country song. 'Cause I'm drunk and getting drunker. Well, I think she's almost out of my mind. And it hurts, that straight tequila, but nothing really compares than to lose the love you love and end up drinking here. And after each round I pray I'm knocked out, so sit down and have a drink. 'Cause I'm ready, are you ready? I'm ready to get drunk and sink. 'Cause I'm drunk and getting drunker. Well, I think she's almost out of my mind. And it hurts, that straight tequila, but nothing really compares. 'Cause I'm drunk and getting drunker. Well, I think she's almost out of my mind. And it hurts, that straight tequila, but nothing really compares